Hello everyone, my name is Alberto Enriquez, and today I'm going to rank every Thomas and Friends season 1 to 21 from the worst to the best. I'm not including season 22 and 24 and 23. Let me tell you why, because I heard they're bad. I also never watched them. Well, I watched a little bit of episodes. Well, no, I don't want to count them because I have to watch the whole series of the season. So yeah, let's go. Number 21, coming in last place, goes to season 15. Man, season 15 has so many bad episodes like Gordon and Ferdinand. Toby and Bash was alright, to be honest. Emily and Dash was not a good episode. Percy's new friend. Even though Percy's a favorite character, will know this episode was not good at all. Edward the hero was so bad. Even James to the rescue, where the crash is really good. And Happy Hero is also not a really good episode. Up and Away, what a really bad episode. This episode was so bad. Stop That Bus was also so bad. Even Kevin the Steamy. Wonky Whistle. You guys all say Wonky Whistle is the worst one. Well, for me, it's the second worst. Well, I do agree this episode was so bad. Man, what a really horrible episode. Well, for me, the worst season 15 episode is Fiery Flynn because Flynn is being such an idiot. Don't know what Thomas is. He keeps bringing Edward and Gordon. Now he meant Thomas and War's all out is actually really stupid. Finn was being such an idiot in that episode. Well, let me tell you the only good episode of the season. The only good episode is Stuck on You. Because I enjoyed that Thomas and his friend are trying to help people in their own Sora Search and Rescue Center. That's why. This is actually the only good episode, Stuck on You, season 15. That's it. Coming in number 20 place goes to season 14. Season 14 is also a really bad season. The Miller era was so bad. I always hated the Miller era, even as a kid. Thomas's tall friend was alright. Charlie and Eddie was so bad. Toby and Losing Woods, man, what an annoying episode. Pop Goes Thomas is also really bad. Thomas in Charge, so bad. Brighter Watch, Sir Handel in Charge, and the Green Controller better than this. And Merry Winter Wish is also so bad. The crash was one of the worst crashes I ever saw in my life. Jumping Joby Wood is also so bad. Look at that, as Edward abuse. The only good episode is being Percy, because it's actually really funny that Percy says his line, Gordon's line, saying that, out of my way, mail coming through. Like Gordon's line saying, out of my way, express coming through. Well, Percy can just be Percy. This is actually the only good episode of season 14. Oh yeah, and Victor says that's also a really bad episode because I can't believe Sir Thomas got mad at Victor just because he just wants to help. Sir Thomas was being such a big jerk in that episode. So yeah, season 14 was really bad. In 19th place goes to season 12. Wow, season 12 is one of the ugliest things I ever saw in my life. With All Engines Go. Model trains with CGI faces is really weird and creepy. They also look so high. Wow. Thomas and the Billboard. Really bad episode. Steady Eddie is also really bad. Rosie's Fun Fair special was mediocre. The Mountain Marvel is literally the same thing as the Magic Lamp. Henry Gets Us Wrong was so bad. Have Ho Thomas was an okay episode. Excellent Emily, really boring episode. Saved You, man, this episode was so bad. And let me see. Doug and Hot Urban was also really bad. James Works It Out was actually one of the only good episodes of this season. I actually think this episode was good because it was funny. That's why. James doesn't want to listen to a freight car named Hector. That's why. Tram Trouble was also really bad. Don't Go Back. Man, one of the worst episodes ever. Gordon Takes a Shortcut was actually a pretty good episode. The Man of the Hill was really bad. Thomas was such an idiot. Thomas puts the brakes on. Another episode, Thomas was being such an idiot. Let me see. Push Me, Pull You. Man, this episode was mucking horrible. Muck this episode. Still, well, Scarly may be my favorite narrow gauge engine. I like all his episodes, except for two. The ones I hate are Push Me, Pull You. More like Muck Me, Muck You. And Scarly the Brave. Scarly Brave is also really bad as well. Best Friends is actually a good episode. That's it. Season 12 was such a bad Thomas season. It was really ugly. It has so many repetitive stuff. Well, the only good episodes I like are James Works It Out, Gordon Takes a Shortcut, and Best Friends. These are the only 3 good episodes of the season. In 18th place goes to Thomas and Friends, Season 13. Season 13 has a lot of bad episodes. Well, unless they have only less repetitive. Unless it's better than Season 12 because it has less repetitive stuff. That's why. Cranky was actually a pretty good episode. The Lion of Sodor was really bad. Tickle Pink was a good episode. Double Trouble was really bad. Slippery Sodor, man, this episode was Thomas torture, and look, I can't believe Thomas wear this funnel. And look, Thomas never listens. Had to go slow. And Thomas and the Pigs is really bad. Time for Story is also really bad. Percy's Parcel was a pretty good episode. Toby's New Whistle was really bad. And let me see. Thomas and Ronan Care was also really bad as well. Split Splash Blues, man, horrible episode. And horrible animation. Snow Tracks, a great episode. Let me see. And Buzzy Bees, really bad. Man, season 13 has so many bad episodes. Well, the only good episodes are Snow Tracks, Percy's Parcel, Tickle Pink, and Cranky. These are only 4 good episodes of the season. The rest of the episodes, really bad. In 17th place goes to season 16. I know it has narrow gauge engine, but still, it's a pretty bad season. It has really bad episodes like Race to the Rescue, Percy and the Monster of Brendan, Thomas and the Rubbish Train, Sodor Surprise Day, Emily's Winter Party, and the Christmas Tree Express. The only good episodes are Happy Birthday, Sir, Muddy Doesn't Matter, Thomas and the Sounds of Sodor, Percy and the Colby, and Bust My Buffers. These are the only 5 good episodes of season 16. The rest of them are really bad. I know it has narrow gauge engines, but still pretty bad it is. Number 16, and the worst of the hit era, is season 10. Season 10 does have some good episodes like The Green Controller, Big Strong Henry, Thomas and the Birthday Mail, Duncan's Bluff, James the Second Best, and Thomas and Scarlet's Big Day Out. Season 10 just has so many bad and dumb episodes like Follow That Flower, Percy and the Fun Fair. Well, the good thing is the Chinese Dragon returned. Duncan Drops a Clutcher, Thomas's Tricky Tree. It's Good to Be Gordon's actually a really good episode. Sticky Toffee Thomas is really bad. Well, The Crash is actually really good. Edward Strikes Out, man, Edward is being such a bossy Ash. And the worst episode of the hit era is Thomas's Frosty Friend. I know you guys all said Edward Strikes Out is worser. Well, no. Edward Strikes Out was really bad. I agree. Well, the only thing that's better is the story. It actually does have a story. And Rocky actually loved Rocky as well. That's the only reason why it's better. Because it actually does have a story. And it also has Rocky, one of my favorite characters. Well, Edward is being such a Vic in this episode. I find Thomas's Frosty Friend worser because Thomas doesn't know about the balloon, and the balloon keeps going in front of him so many times. And man, how does Thomas know that the balloon is behind him? Man, this episode mucking sucked. 15th place is season 8. Season 8 was an alright season. Well, Thomas and Tuba was really bad. Percy's New Whistle was alright. Thomas the Rescue was a really good episode. Henry and the Wishing Tree is mediocre. James Gets a New Coat was pretty good. Thomas Saves the Day was a great episode. Percy's Big Mistake was okay. Thomas Emily and the Snowplow was, man, really bad. Don't Tell Thomas was actually a really good episode. Squeaking Rattle was really good as well. Emily's Adventure was a really bad episode. Man, Emily is being such a bossy jerk in this episode. Chickens Go to School is also really dumb. Too Hot for Thomas is also really bad and boring. And Percy and the Magic Card is mediocre. Halloween was a pretty okay episode. Fish was pretty okay as well. Thomas in the Circus was bad because of so many repetitive stuff, that's why. Spice and Spain was good because I'm happy Thomas and Percy won first prize. Gordon Takes Charge was a really good episode. So yeah, that's my thoughts. It was an okay season for season 8. 14th place is season 9. Season 9 has some good episodes like Thomas's Milkshake Medal. The best episode hitter was Respect for Gordon. Thomas's Day Off. Thomas's new trucks, and Keeping Up with James. Flower Power was an alright episode. Now for the bad episodes. The bad episodes are Thomas and the Rainbow, Thomas in the Toy Shop, Rheneas and the Dinosaur, Thomas and the New Engine, Emily Knows Best, and the worst one is Scarlet the Brave. Man, this episode was so bad. I hated it ever since I had it on DVD with Thomas and the Treasure. Thomas Treasure was a pretty alright episode. Well, this episode was horrible. This episode is so bad. I felt bad for Scarlet. Scarlet just wanted to be brave, wanted to help. Well, no, Mr. Percival was being a jerk. Well, Tyler was being a more jerk than Mr. Percival. Well, no, it just felt so mad. This episode was so bad. In 13th place, the best season of the hit era is season 11. Season 11 has a lot of really good episodes like Dirty Work, Hector the Horrid, Gordon Engineer, because you see Donald and Douglas back, that's why. Thomas in the Runaway Car, Thomas in Trouble, Thomas in the Stinky Cheese, Duncan Does It All, Sir Handel in Charge, Cool Truckings, and Wash Behind Their Buffers. There's like some bad episodes like Scarlet Storms Through, Toby's Trumman, Edward in the Mail, Thomas in the Big Bang, Angry's Lucky Day, Thomas in the Lighthouse, and the worst one is Don't Be Silly Billy. Man, Billy is one of the worst Thomas characters. I hate Billy, that brat. He keeps saying, Thomas, stop telling what to do. You're a very bossy engine. My god. Shut up, Billy. You're such an annoying brat. Stay tuned for part 2 now.